All right, we're back. Did you send the tweet out? Yeah, we're back. All right, good. We're back. Hang on, let me send it back out.
God, you gotta love internet.
We're back live. Yes, I'm looking at it right now. We're good. All right, we're live. We're back. Hey, how's it going? Good. Little internet interruption there. We're back. Football Friday, Playoff Friday, yeah! All right, we're back. Yeah, there we go. Just restart the show, no problem. We're back. A little break, little uninterrupted break there. Or interrupted break, I should say, for us here on the show. We appreciate everybody jumping back in. We had a little internet issue, but we're back. All right, here we go, Playoff Friday. We were talking a little Cavs. Good game for them yesterday. We didn't hit our parlay, no problem there. I did want to talk Marvin Harrison Jr., but let's push that back to a little bit later in the show, so we'll get to that. I don't want to send it to a break right now, so I'll tell everybody about Tipico, folks. Get signed up. Let's finish our boost out, Ryan. I've got one. The Twitter inbox here. I had an anytime. Well, actually, we had somebody tweet us. I want to find the name here. Dustin says the first Jerome Ford first touchdown.
Oh, that would be some juicy odds.
You want to do? I like anytime touchdowns.
We do. Yeah. You want to do Ford anytime? I like that.
All right, let's do that. Let's do Jerome Ford anytime touchdown. You got the other two, right? Interception for Stroud and over 75.5 yards from Amari Cooper.
Yep.
All right, put that in. We're going to get that over to our friends at Tipico. We'll send that out to everybody as soon as we can. And we'll get signed up there. So welcome back. We had a little internet trouble. We're back on the second stream there. It's retweeted back out. I'm at Fontana Show. Appreciate everybody kind of going through all that with us. All right, Ryan, are you ready to get to the Friday report card? This is an important one. This is a playoff edition Friday report card. Let's see how the Browns stack up against those Texans. All right, here we go. We start with the quarterbacks. Quite the difference between Joe Flacco and CJ Stroud. It's not even just their age, but it's interesting to look at some of the stats and the comparison between Flacco and CJ Stroud. So we start with CJ Stroud, who of course has had a remarkable season as that rookie quarterback. And the thing that you heard all week, Ryan, was what? He does not turn the football over. Less than 1% of his dropback results in a turnover or an interception. That is one of the best rates in all of football. And that's something that I am putting it out there that I want the Browns to be able to force a turnover on CJ Stroud this year. That's pretty impressive. Most touchdown passes by a rookie quarterback in a single game. Tied Daniel Jones and Matt Stafford with 5 back in that game against Tampa Bay. Quarterbacks to throw 5+ passing touchdowns in a single game in franchise history. He's only one of 4 guys to do that. Who was one of the other ones?
So this is just for the Texans, right?
Yeah.
Why are you looking at me like that?
Who was one of the other quarterbacks to do that for the Houston Texans?
I don't know. Who? Matt Schaub?
Yes, but also...
Oh, Deshaun.
3 times Deshaun Watson at 85
So am I missing
touchdown.
one more?
Yeah, you want to guess the other one?
Is it gettable?
Sure.
Really?
Sure. Again, for Houston Texans, single game franchise record, it's 5 touchdowns.
Okay.
Matt Schaub did it once. Deshaun Watson did it 3 times. Now CJ Stroud has done it once, and there's one quarterback left that has done it.
Ryan Mallett?
No, but you were really close.
Really? In terms of the name?
Yeah.
Is it Ryan something? Fitzpatrick?
Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Oh, look at that.
Nice.
I guess when in doubt, just guess Ryan Fitzpatrick.
That's exactly right. You're probably pretty fair on doing that as well. I mean, with Stroud, it's been it's the yards, and it's also the fact that when I look at CJ Stroud and how much he's throwing the football, 8th in total yards, which is crazy because he missed a couple of games. So you're talking about as far as yardage, if he played 23 touchdowns, just that 5 interceptions. But it's interesting that his QBR is only 15th in the NFL at 57. Some of his more recent games, you are staring down the barrel of a guy that's going to... I mean, here's the other crazy thing. Because you might be sitting there saying, oh, yeah, he throws it all over the place. Brian, he only has 3 games this year where he had over 42 attempts. So it's putting up a 64% completion. So his completion percentage, even just in the last 2 games he played, was 77 and 75%. So he's incredibly accurate. He's not turning the football over. And really, the crazy thing was, of his 5 interceptions, 3 of them came in one game.
Yep, I remember that.
In the Arizona game that they won. So really, in essence, the majority of his season, he just had 2 picks. That's why I'm feeling good about the interception for the Browns tomorrow. You flip it over for Joe Flacco. The 300 yards per average game that he's putting up right now is incredible. But it's the flip side, right? It's the interceptions that we worry a little bit about with Flacco. Can he eliminate those, or can the Browns defense continue to overcome them? I'd rather the first than the second. I would rather you eliminate the turnovers as opposed to putting it on the defense to try to overcome it. But the biggest thing is, Ryan, that's the element that Flacco brings of pushing the ball down the field. If you throw an interception deep, and that gives that secondary and it gives the defense for the Houston Texans something to worry about that you are going to throw it deep, I'll live with that. I think it's the short interceptions that I don't like. I mean, I don't like any interceptions, but it's really the short ones that I look at where ball's getting tipped or the timing is off. Those are the ones I'd really try to not have this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it, right? The whole thing has been you need Joe Flacco to not turn the ball over if we're going to keep dominating in the playoffs. And we talked about it. I forget whose article you read, Matt, but it was the myth about the Browns that we can overcome these Joe Flacco interceptions.
Exactly. So I look at it and I say the quarterbacks, it's going to come and it's going to come down to the turnovers. I think that's going to be the big circle thing for all of the for all the quarterbacks in this game. All right, we continue on with the Friday report card. That's a lot of brown and orange. A lot of brown and orange. We start with the wide receivers. This might be one of the closer ones.
Yeah.
We gave the edge to Amari Cooper, set a franchise record the last time these teams played. But you know me, I'm not sleeping on Nico Collins in any shape or form.
Yeah, I mean, you can't sleep on him, right? I mean, 6'4", like 216, he's an absolute beast. And you're right, you are going to need MJ Emerson to cover him, given that he is the same body size. A guy like Denzel Ward has the quickness to recover, but straight up jump balls, I mean, I think Denzel's about 5'10", so a clear disadvantage there. So you need MJ Emerson out there.
Then you talk about the rest of that Houston Texans offense when it comes to the receivers. The big thing is they're going to get Noah Brown back, former Ohio State Buckeye. Robert Woods is not much that you look at. Okay, fine. And then you're down to Xavier Hutchinson. The Browns have the edge here, even beyond the fact of Amari Cooper versus Nico Collins. Now, you look at the tight end position. Dalton Schultz, 59 catches, 635 yards, and 5 touchdowns. Again, I think it's a close conversation, maybe closer than some think, but I'm still giving that edge all the way to David Njoku.
Oh, yeah, and it's not even close there, especially given this breakout late season that we've seen with Njoku. I mean, the Flacco connection to him is incredible. I would say his best game in a Browns uniform was against the Jets, so I expect him to keep that momentum in the playoffs, and if we're going to go the distance, we're going to need him to keep up that play.
Absolutely. So we go edge to the Browns, to the running back position. Devin Singletary, 898 rushing yards on the year, but only 4 touchdowns. I think it's a little sneaky. When you look at Jerome Ford, who, again, we have put in our boost as an anytime touchdown scorer for this game, the fact that he would have gotten 1,000 yards, or at least been close, 813, but he only had the 4 touchdowns. Kareem Hunt, 9 rushing touchdowns this year. 9!
And he got here, what, week 5, 6?
Yeah, only 411 on the ground, but Kareem Hunt is your touchdown scorer on that. I think it's the 2 versus 1, where would you maybe take Devin Singletary over Jerome Ford and Kareem Hunt individually? Sure, but I look at the combo and I say this is much bigger for the Cleveland Browns. I think this is more towards the edge of the Browns on that.
Yeah,
Did I skip head coach?
Yeah, but
I did. We'll get to that at the end.
Yeah, but you're exactly right. I mean, Devin Singletary and Dameon Pierce. Dameon Pierce had a really good rookie year.
Good out of the backfield, by
Yeah,
the way.
bit of a sophomore slump there for him, but as a collective whole, which is what we do for the report card, I give the nod to the Browns for sure.
Browns offensive line, we know they still have some backups in there, but that label's been shed. James Hudson's had to start. Garen Christian's going to have to start. He's been starting. They've been doing a solid job. To the other side, and this is pretty much the same conversation that we had a couple of weeks ago, they have Laramie Tunsil, who is very good, and nobody else that really is. It's really weak on that interior. Dieter, their center, is only the 27th ranked PFF center, but their guards really get after Juice Scruggs on that left guard position. You should be able to force some pressure up the middle and make things really hard on the on the Houston Texans from the interior. I think this is going to be a big game for Dalvin Tomlinson. Shelby Harris, who we assume is going to play, should be all good to go. Shaq Mason's their other guard, and then they got to put in Charlie Heck back out there at the right tackle. They've got issues. They've had injuries on that offensive line as much as the Browns have had. Very clear edge. The two best offensive linemen on this field are your guards, Joel Bitonio and Wyatt Teller. Then we start talking like Posick versus Laramie Tunsil. I might give Tunsil third, but then beyond that, it's just a bunch of guys. I think the Browns' edge here is very clear, and they should be able to run the football a little bit better in this game too.
Yeah, given that they've been, they pretty much shed that label of a backup, given that they've had to come in for so many games now and start. They're pretty much labeled as starters now. But that's going to be a big key in this game is our defensive line being able to expose their offensive line, right? I've talked about it in previous shows. We need a big game out of Zadarius Smith. You know Miles is going to draw those doubles, sometimes even triple teams on that other side of the edge. So we need to put pressure on C.J. Stroud, given that he doesn't turn the ball over that much, and he has a high completion percentage. If we're going to stop him from having a big day, we're going to need to get some pressure on him.
Absolutely. All right, let's flip it over to the defense. At one point, I still think it's true. The Browns have one of the best defenses in football, potentially the best in the NFL. What does that mean for Myles Garrett, win Defensive Player of the Year? I don't know. But let's take a look at the Houston Texans defense and some of the things that we need to watch about. So first off, total defense, they're smack dab in the middle of the NFL at 14th. Where they really struggle is passing defense. They just have the 23rd overall ranked defense passing, giving up 234 yards per game. Probably works well for Joe Flacco. Browns passing offense still just 19th, but Flacco playing much higher than that over the last month. Where the Texans are going to try to stop you, rushing defense. They are the 6th best in the NFL. Of course, the Browns' rushing defense is 11th. We have the number 1 passing defense, number 1 overall defense. Overall, as I said, 14th for the Texans. This all leans towards the Cleveland Browns. Now, one of the areas that I was going to point to and I was going to bring up to say that this is something a little bit down the list, but it's something we got to watch. The third down defense for the Houston Texans is the 5th best in the NFL at 36%. Browns' third down offense, 3rd worst in the NFL at just 31%. Now, we have one of the best third down we have the best third down defense, and the Houston Texans have the 19th ranked third down offense. So think about it this way. The two defenses own it on third down. They're a little bit better than us on third down offense, and we're pretty bad on third down offense.
Yeah, I mean, no shocker here that we gave the Browns the nod. They're the most dominant group in football right now on the defensive side of the ball. Man, that Denzel Ward injury does really suck because, Matt, I would say outside of Myles Garrett and Joe Flacco, and I know you might say MJ Emerson just because he's going to have to be that guy that's matched up against Nico Collins. The one guy I would want in bubble wrap, and I need to suit up this week, is Denzel Ward.
Yeah. We don't do special teams differently, but they have a clear edge on special teams, especially without Dustin Hopkins out there. Borquez is fine. Kai Fairburn and Cameron Johnston, that's a pretty damn good battery when it comes to your kicking and punting situation. We saw a little bit of that, especially with Cameron Johnston a couple of weeks ago when the Browns played them. So again, we don't divvy up the special teams. It's all within the defense. But if we did do special teams individually, I think they would get the nod there. They would.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing you can really say about it when you lose your MVP kicker in Dustin Hopkins. They have the edge, but you got to have a little bit of faith there in Riley Patterson. Matt mentioned you tweeted earlier this week about he is very good in a dome, which is where we're going to be in Energy Stadium. So you got to still feel confident about it, but you're not a true Browns fan if that doesn't make you nervous a little bit.
Absolutely not. The final one, the head coach, very clearly Kevin Stefanski. He is going to win Coach of the Year. He is a runaway favorite to do that. But there's reason for optimism down there in Houston with DeMeco Ryans. He's turned this program around. Yeah. I think as a former player, he brings a lot to this table, and he's a Houston Texan through and through. I'd like that hire for them a lot. I do, and it's unfortunate because we might have to run into them for the next couple of years, but this is still his first playoff game. Now, it's funny. I want to pull this up because I always get ready for the game, and I go through the Houston Texans release. He has 10 playoff appearances as an NFL coach. He's been a part of playoff games, but as a coordinator, as an assistant coach, It's a little bit different when you're in there as the head coach. I do think it matters that he was a player, and I believe went to the playoffs 1 year or two with the Houston Texans. But he's been there, just never as the guy, right?
Yeah, you got to wonder if this might be a trend that's going to be more often in the NFL. You look at Antonio Pierce. Patriots just promoted Jared Mayo to the head coach position. He's been with the Patriots since he played there in 2008. Fun fact, Matt, both him and Kevin O'Connell were part of that Pats draft class in 2008, and now they're both going to be head coaches in the National Football League.
You know, the other thing that I talk about with coaching, Bobby Slowick. So he is their offensive coordinator down there in Houston. His name has been thrown around all week. And I got to tell you, that can be distracting. He is going to get head coaching opportunities. He is going to have interviews. We talked to Greg Williams about that on the show yesterday. And what did Greg say? I kept notebooks and I prepared for these interviews. Is Bobby Slowick going to be all... And again, I know he's doing this after the games and they try to find these times, but his mind's got to wander a little bit. He's got to lay down at night, even with probably not sleeping a lot, but when he sits down, he's got to think just for a second, like, man, I'm going to have an interview next week that could change my life, and I get to be an NFL head coach. Think about it. I mean, that's something that, and especially with DeMeco Ryans being a defensive-minded head coach, this is all on Bobby Slowick. And he has put himself in the situation for how well he's coached this year. I just wanted to bring that up, Ryan. I just wanted to bring that up. I think that is a little minor factor for this. When you have coordinators that are getting ready to interview for other jobs out there, I wouldn't sleep on that if his mind just starting to wander a little bit for the playoff game.
Yeah, I don't know why I just thought of it, but you're absolutely right. I'm just thinking of looking at these kind of franchises that have been down the last few years, right? You look at the Texans, you look at other teams that are kind of seem like they got their answers, whether it's coaching or quarterback play. And then you just look at these Panthers, man. It's got to be bottom of the barrel, and it's not even really close at this point. If you're David Tepper, I mean, you just got to be livid with yourself seeing how C.J. Stroud's been playing.
They've made mistakes. You need your coaches to come in there. You got to pay the right people to do their jobs the right way. We'll see how it goes. Let's do this. Let's catch a break. We were a little thrown off this morning when the show just got thrown off the air, but that's internet problems we got. Let's catch our break. I want to reset because we got the NFL picks coming next. We got Sonny coming up at 10:15. We'll get his thoughts on all the games. We'll jump into Time Up. I want to talk Marvin Harrison Jr. as well. We'll get to all that coming up. Fontana Show right here on Big Play. Get signed up with our friends at Tipico with code Fontana100. Our boost, I believe, is already up. Is it not? It's been sent over.
Let's see. I'll go take a look right now.
Yeah, let's get it going. Let's get it going. Three-legger for us. Jerome Ford, anytime touchdown. We got over 75.5 receiving yards for Mark Cooper and an interception for one C.J. Stroud. Up and going. We'll get it up there. It's eventually. Plus, our Big Play Cleveland boost. Did you see this one that we got up? Steelers over the Bills. Dolphins over the Chiefs. Browns over the Texans. Plus 2,800. Plus 2,800. There on Tipico. Get signed up. Take advantage of the boost. And also, the new reward system is out. The flex parlays are out. It's the best. I love it with Tipico. Use that code Fontana100 when you sign up. Deposit bet $25, and you get $100 in bonus bets. It's that simple. It's that easy. Gambling problem, call 1-800. Quick break. NFL picks. Come your way next. All right, here we go. Our NFL picks presented by our friends at Tipico. Oh, boy, Ryan. Oh, boy. So we start going back to our final week of the regular season. 15 games. Ryan, you very impressively went 10-5 last week.
It's about damn time.
You are up to 122 and 102. A 10-game. Well, more than that. You got to get more than that. Yeah. Oh, no, a 20-game. Sorry, not 10-game. 20-game cushion there.
Wow.
For young Ryan. You are 122 and 102 on the year. Now, I bring this up for me because things are getting a little dicey as I went 7-8 last week, and I am now 112 and 8 on the year. I have got to have. I gotta get out in the playoffs. I gotta go out in the playoffs.
I mean, if I were you, I'd just kind of pack it up.
What? No, we don't do that. I'm not afraid. Come on now.
Call it shop. Pack up shop. Go home early. Get some rest. I think it's all but over.
No. Well, I mean, you have won. I don't have enough games to catch up to you. But I just need to finish above 500. So there are important games to be had, and we start 8-10 tomorrow night. Peacock, it is the Miami Dolphins taking on the Kansas City Chiefs. Coming into this game, I've got it on Tipico at 4.5 is the spread. Let's get to the public money on this game. We start off. It, of course, is interesting to see. About 60-40 on the side of the Kansas City Chiefs. This game, of course, is at Arrowhead Stadium, and we'd be remiss to say it's going to be bitterly ice cold. And that's probably reflected in this line, Ryan. 4.5, but the over-under is just 43 in this game. You would expect that to be in the 50s if it was Miami and Kansas City, but it's actually going to be closer to negative 50 than it won't be for this game. We start in this one. Miami is 13-7 against the spread their last 20 games, but they're only 1-4 straight up in their last 5 games against Kansas City. They are only 2-5 against the spread their last 7 games at Arrowhead, and Miami is just 2-7 straight up in their last 9 games played in January. And there was a stat I heard earlier this week. Kansas City is 0-14 in their last 14 games when it's played below freezing. It's going to be way beyond that, and I think that's a factor for this game. Now, you flip it over for Kansas City, there's a lot of questions with them. 14-6 straight up in their last 20 games. As I mentioned, they have owned it. 5-2 against the spread their last 7 games at home against the Miami Dolphins. It is 4.5 on the side of the Chiefs. I'm going to take KC in this one. I don't like it because they've not looked great. I think Miami, yes, they're going to get Raheem Mostert back for this game. You would believe that they're going to be back to more of who they are and what they want to do of run the football. I just don't trust Tua in the cold. There's no way that I can look at Tua Tagovailoa and say he's going to be able to get this done with that. They're down in Miami. Tyreek Hill battling injury, Jalen Waddle battling injury. Now they're going to play. It sounds like the only person they're really going to miss for this game outside of Bradley Chubb and Jalen Phillips, who are out for the year, Xavier Howard's not going to play, one of their starting corners, but also they had to put Andrew Van Ginkel on IR, one of their other guys trying to step up in pass rush. I think Miami's getting hurt at the wrong time, man.
Yeah, Matt, this really sucks because I would take Miami over Kansas City at home, of course, and I would even take them on a neutral site. Maybe even in Arrowhead on just a decent day. But the fact that it's going to be this freezing, this cold, you have to factor into it. And I just can't see a scenario where the Miami Dolphins can win this game. I mean, you look at it, it's going to be so run-centric, obviously. And I just wish Raheem Mostert was 100% because him and Achane have been one of the best duo backs this year. But if we're going spread, I mean, maybe.
I was going to say, do you buy it all that they'll keep it close?
I do. Yeah. I'll go Miami.
Oh, all right, okay.
It's 4.5.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it'll come down to a field goal.
All right, I'll listen to that. So 1 o'clock on Sunday we go. Pittsburgh Steelers up in Buffalo to take on the Bills. I've got this on Tipico. As we know, a giant 10-point spread. Public money has it even, Ryan. It's about 50-50 with this giant spread. Of course, we know where Pittsburgh is at. They needed a fight at the end of the season to make the playoffs. They did that. They go on a 3-game win streak. They beat Baltimore and all their backups. But before that, the shocking win against Seattle, which is really what propelled them to the playoffs, and they beat Cincinnati before that. Have they found something with Mason Rudolph? I don't know. What scares me, if you're a Steelers fan, you don't have TJ Watt for this game. He is definitely out for this game. If they somehow advance, I don't know his status moving forward. Then you flip it over for the Buffalo Bills. And they got hot at the right time. They finished their year out on a 5-game winning streak that includes wins over Kansas City, Dallas, the Chargers, the Patriots, and that big win over the Miami Dolphins to win the AFC East. They are riding hot into the playoffs. I'll start with Pittsburgh here, though. They are 13-7 against the spread their last 20 games, and they own Buffalo. Pittsburgh is 11-4 straight up and against the spread in their last 15 games against the Buffalo Bills. In January, playoff games, Pittsburgh 5-1 against the spread their last 6 January games. You flip it over for Buffalo. I talk about the run that they're on, Ryan, but they don't cover. They are 4-9 against the spread their last 13 games. And Buffalo just 3-7 against the spread their last 10 games when they play as a favorite. This is a giant line. It's 10. Ryan, I'll let you go first on this one.
Yeah, I'm still struggling to pick one here, right? Because, 10 for a playoff game is just absurd. I wish that should never happen. However, you know me, Matt. I've been on this train that, as hot as the Bills have been, I'm not buying real much stock into them this playoffs. That being said, they are playing the Steelers, I think the worst team in the playoffs with the worst quarterback in the playoffs, and they're without their best player. That being said, I have to go with the Bills to cover this, although it be a 10-point spread.
The only thing I don't like, because there were all these reports this week about the game, right? There were all these, I don't know if Cleveland fans have been following this necessarily. There was a reporter up in Buffalo that leaked it out that said he thought, or actually it was in Pittsburgh, that said the game was going to come to Cleveland. That if the weather got that bad in Buffalo for public safety, that they were going to move this game to Cleveland. Now that times over has been shot down. There are people across the league that said that's not happening. They're not taking this playoff game away from Buffalo, and they're going to play that game up there. That being said, when I look at the weather, I'm actually going to take the Pittsburgh Steelers to cover in this game. I don't think they're going to win, but I just question if Buffalo, with the weather, they like running the football. I don't think they're going to score enough to put up the points that are needed to cover the 10. You're kind of giving me a nod that you kind of...
I'm still going to go with mine.
That's
but
fine.
I could definitely see it.
All right, I will go Pittsburgh. We'll differ on that one with a big 10-point spread. 4:30 slate Saturday, AT&T Stadium. Dallas Cowboys welcoming in the Green Bay Packers. Now, you know me and the Packers. You know me and Jordan Love. Excited to see what he's got. But the Cowboys, a big 7-point home favorite. This is down from 7.5. Public money also pretty split. 55-45 on the side of the Dallas Cowboys. We start with the Green Bay Packers in this one. Of course, the Packers coming in, they won their last 3 games of the year to make it in. They beat Chicago, Minnesota, and Carolina. They are pretty healthy. The biggest question is going to be Christian Watson. He's been battling hamstring injury. You assume that they'll be able to get him back for this game. For Dallas, they erased those 2-game losing streak. They had that controversy against Detroit, and they took care of business against the Washington Commanders on the way out. On their injury side of things, they're pretty healthy. Everybody that's out, is going to be out. You assume that they'll be good to go. We start with the trends here. Green Bay coming in 6-2 straight up in their last 8. And how about this incredible stat? Green Bay, with a lot of Aaron Rodgers, is 9-1 straight up in their last 10 games against Dallas, and Green Bay is 5-1 against the spread their last 6 games against the Dallas Cowboys. You flip it over for the Cowboys. They are just 2-4 straight up in their last 6 games. They are 7-2 straight up in their last 9, and yes, that insane, gaudy stat, they are 16-0 in their last 16 games at home. The one thing, though, January football. Dallas is just 4-14 against the spread. Their last 18 games played in January. I know they're home. I know they ride it out at home, but give me Jordan Love and the Packers to get under that 7. Give me Green Bay.
You're absolutely drunk right now. No way in hell. Dallas
you don't
all
know what's
day.
in this coffee.
Garage beer, hope. All day. Give me the Detroit. Give me the Dallas Cowboys. 8-0 at home. The only undefeated NFL team at home. Add that to the fact, Matt, that the Green Bay Packers average age on the roster right now.
Youngest team to ever make the NFL playoffs.
25.13. Youngest by a significant
They
margin.
don't know any better, Ryan.
No playoff experience. You're going into arguably the toughest home field advantage team in football right now. With a team, yes, they've underperformed in the playoffs, but they have to prove something this year. And there's no way they're dropping this wild card game. And I think this has the best chance out of all these playoff games to get lopsided pretty quickly.
All right. So you're going to go with the Dallas Cowboys on this one. Maybe I have a little trend going here. We get to Sunday night, 8 o'clock. The LA Rams taking on the Detroit Lions up at Ford Field. It's going to be, what a scene. It's going to be great. Stafford making his return to Detroit. Tickets are $1,000 just to get in. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch. Public money, big on the Rams here. 72% of public money is on the Rams, plus that 3. Here we go. We start with the LA Rams. So a quick look at them as they get into the playoffs. Ryan, they won an incredible 7 out of their last 8 games. Their only loss was a 6-point loss to the Baltimore Ravens back on December 10th. They beat us Browns in there. They finished it out beating the San Francisco backups with their own. Wins over the Giants, wins over the Saints, wins over the Washington Commanders, Arizona, and Seattle. I say that to say this. That is not the strongest group to say you win 7 out of 8 against, right? Not some good teams in there. You flip it over for Detroit, up and down on the way out. They really have been. They beat Minnesota, that shocking loss to Dallas. They beat Denver. Same thing. Not a great resume on the way out for either of these teams. For the Rams, they're all good to go. No real injuries. They activated Duke Shelley. He's good to go. Now you flip it over for Detroit. They have Sam Laporta, and that's going to be the biggest one. He said he's good to go. He said he's going to wear a brace to avoid the hyperextension there. But, of course, you still have Goff. You still have Amon-Ra St. Brown. We'll see in this game. Let's start here. I will start with the Rams. They are 6-1 against the spread their last 7 games, 7-1 straight up in their last 8. They are an impressive 9-4 straight up in their last 13 games played in January / the playoffs. Here we are for Detroit, 5-1 against the spread their last 16 games, 14-5 straight up in their last 19. Detroit 6-1 straight up in their last 7 games at home. Detroit 4-1 against the spread their last 5 games played in the month of January. I'm going to flip on this one, actually, because I was leaning the Rams, and I'm actually going to go Detroit in this game. I think that atmosphere is going to be great. I do think this borderline could be a real shootout. I didn't look at the over-under in this. 52.5. Okay, that's pretty high. Pretty high in that one. Over has hit 4 out of the last 6 games between the Lions and the Rams when played at Ford Field, so take that for what it's worth. Over has hit 7 out of Detroit's last 9 games. Over has hit 6 out of the last 7 games for the Rams. And over is 4 out of the Rams' last 5 games on the road. Dude, I like the over more than anything in that. I will take Detroit, though, to cover there. Ryan.
Matt, I can't think of the word. What's another word for like when you're angry?
Upset?
That's what's going to happen. A lot of tears in the Motor City.
You set me up.
Don't even give me the spread. Give me Rams money line right now. Rams have a ton of playoff experience.
What if I would have said
Sean
some other
McVay,
word?
But I knew you wouldn't, because that's how good this game's going to go for the Rams. Sean McVay 3-1 in the opening round of the playoffs. Matt Stafford, Super Bowl champion. Rams went that risk to try to get the 2 seed. They're going to maybe be without Sam Laporta. That's going to hurt them a ton. He's been their best weapon outside of Amon-Ra St. Brown through the air. Give me the Rams. I expect a big game out of Cooper Kupp. A little bit quiet in the regular season because of the emergence of Puka Nacua. But I'm going to take Stafford to upset the Lions, and I expect a lot of tears there in Motor City.
I thought you really were struggling to find the word. And I was like, I almost didn't say upset because I'm like, oh, Ryan would think of that word. Is he thinking of perturbed? Or what if I would have said perturbed? What if I would have said something? I don't. Well done.
Thank you.
Set me up very well. Final game Monday night. You have the Philadelphia Eagles taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Of course, this game is down in Tampa Bay. Of course, the Bucs win the NFC South. Philly and just their tumultuous, use another word there, end of the season, 11-6, but oh boy, did it go bad for Philly. So we start, it is a 3-point road favorite here for Philly. Down there in Tampa, about 60-40. 60% of the public money is on the side of the Philadelphia Eagles, 40% over on there, the home dog, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Of course, for Philly, we know, dude, lost 5 out of their last 6 games, only beat the Giants, then lost to the Giants, lost to the Cardinals, lost to Seattle. Not a good end to the season for Philadelphia. There are people thinking that Nick Sirianni, a year removed from the Super Bowl,
Did you see the report this
might
morning?
be on the hot seat. I did not.
That said there's potential. Well, take the reports for what you will, but
Right.
there's potential that they might be looking at Nick Sirianni through a magnifying glass.
Yeah, I mean, I like, at the end of the day, losing your coordinators is really hard, and you got to give them credit for hiring those guys. What else are you going to do? That's the NFL. You can't rebound from losing your coordinators that way, then why are you keeping them around as a head coach? I understand that completely. Then I do worry about Jalen Hurts' psyche. Dislocated finger. That's not going to feel good. I've not seen many updates for A.J. Brown, which is concerning with his knee injury. And again, DeAndre Swift was sick. He's on the injury report. They got a lot of guys. They're going to miss, I think Darius Slay might come back for this game. He was on IR. I haven't seen anything. I don't know. Let me Google that quick. Darius Slay. I guess he's ready to go. Sounds like he's good to go. So that'll be important there for the Eagles. Then you flip it over for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Let's talk about them for a second. For Tampa, I'm not shocked that they won that division. They finished things out winning 5 out of their last 6, but you only put up 9 points against Carolina in a must-win game. It's at home. I want to factor that in. I think that has a little to do with it being the 3. I just don't know if I look at Tampa Bay as a team that it's been an improbable run. I guess the way that I look at it for Tampa Bay is this. It's been an extremely improbable run. I don't know if that's going to keep going here. And every week I keep saying that Philly's going to turn around. They got no choice but to turn around right now. I'll take Philly in this game. Let me get to the trends before Ryan makes his selection here. All right, Philadelphia has not covered in their last 6 games. They are 1-4 straight up in their last 5 games against Tampa Bay and 2-6 against the spread their last 8 games in the month of January. Now, Philly plays well on Monday, 13-6 straight up in their last 19 games played on a Monday. For Tampa Bay, 4-1 straight up in their last 5 games, 4-1 against the spread their last 5, 5-1 straight up in their last 6, 10-3 straight up in their last 13 games in January. Tampa Bay is 6-1 against the spread their last 7 games when they play as the underdog. I will still take Philly minus the 3. Ryan.
Well, Matt, the Eagles didn't drink enough water last night because they are through a Super Bowl hangover right now. Absolutely horrendous end to their season. They still made the playoffs. However, I am riding with Baker here. Another upset. Home field advantage for them.
We do not have the same pick on any game.
Good.
We are different on every single pick.
This will make it real good. My reason being, Jalen Hurts has not thrown a football since Sunday. Limited in practice yesterday. A.J. Brown, I don't expect him to go in this game after injuring himself on that god-awful MetLife turf. The Eagles are in a real bad spot right now. The Bucs, if they can play rush defense, which I think they can, they're going to be pretty good in this game. They'll get Mike Evans going. They score some points. Give me the Buccaneers in this one. I see Baker going to the divisional round.
All right, I like it a lot. There's all our selections. We differ. A quick run through. I will take Kansas City. Ryan will take Miami. I'll take Pittsburgh. He'll take Buffalo. I'll take Green Bay. He's got Dallas. Ryan has the Rams. I'll take Detroit. I ride with the Eagles. You go with Tampa Bay on that. Of course, all against the spread, because if you're not doing the spread, What are we doing here? Come on, you got to be doing the spread. Speaking of the spread, Sonny Gupta's going to join us next from Tipico. You want even more insight to these games, and you want insight to the Browns on how you're going to bet on Tipico? No better place to get it than with Sonny. He joins us next. I can't wait to talk to him about the weather in Buffalo, the weather out there in Kansas City. Sonny Gupta from Tipico joins us next. Get signed up with that code Fontana100. Get our boost up there at Tipico. We got you covered. Got it all. Stay with us. Fontana Show right here on Big Play. All right, back here on the show, our NFL picks are in, but let's get a little bit smarter on all the NFL slate, including the Browns game. We bring in Sonny Gupta, sportsbook manager with our friends at Tipico. Use that code Fontana100. When you sign up, you deposit and bet $25, and you get $100 in bonus bets. And Sonny, this would be the weekend to do it, man. Get all those bonus bets out. But I got to ask, did you get the whiskey yet? Is it there?
I did. I got it yesterday. Appreciate you sending that to me. I think I'm going to be cracking it open this weekend.
Do you know, well, you have a national championship to celebrate with. Congratulations on that. Did you see the little twist that I put on the whiskey there? Did you see where it was from?
I did not. Where is it from?
Ohio. Columbus, Ohio. So Sonny can drink he's a Michigan frozen. We had Sonny on all year. We've always appreciated. He's a Michigan fan. We made a bet. Michigan won. So I sent him some whiskey distilled in Columbus. You can pretend like you're drinking the tears of Ohio State fans. It comes, the water's right out of the Olatangi, right there down there in Columbus. So I wanted to put a little extra taste in there for you that bottle of whiskey was from Columbus. So there you go. Enjoy it. Tell me how it is next week, all right?
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Sonny, let's get to it. A great weekend in Super Wildcard Weekend. I want to start with the Browns and the Texans. With this game, how much does it factor in for you that these teams had just played, but CJ Stroud wasn't in that game? Tell us where the public money is, and what do you like in this Browns-Texans game as we kick off the playoffs tomorrow?
Yeah, to start with, I think you have to throw that game out, right? Without CJ Stroud, this is a completely different Texans team. So I don't think the books factored this in at all. None of our manual markets have factored in that they've already played each other. So I would totally ignore that game. Now, the public loves the Browns this weekend.
Sure, yeah.
The public loves the Browns so much so they're 85% on the spread here, -2.
Do you think it's going to move? Because it was 1.5, right, Sonny, on Tipico? It's the 2. Do you think it moves another half by tomorrow?
I don't think it moves.
Okay.
Like we saw, we'll bring back Michigan. Like we saw that Michigan-Alabama game where everybody was on Alabama. Like once the line is kind of set and we feel confident about it, we're not going to move it unless there's other news that comes out. So I doubt that it moves anymore. But the public and myself, we love the Browns here. They're riding high with this Joe Flacco, this Kevin, the Njoku momentum here. Like, I think that the Browns really take care of it. They're way here, but I really expect them to come out ahead.
We hope this certainly that's how it plays out. Our boost is going to be up here. We're going to do a 3-leg parlay. Just tell me what you think about this, Sonny. We're going to do CJ Stroud interception, which he doesn't throw a lot, but I'm trying to put the Maloik on him. I'm going to go Amari Cooper over 75.5 yards because he went off for that record last time, and we're going to go Jerome Ford anytime touchdown. Will you just give that our blessing, please, there on our Tipico boost?
I love it.
Yes.
Anybody that bets it, I'm hoping they win. Let's go Browns.
Let's go. Code Fontana 100 when you get signed up. Let's get to the other games, Sonny. Now, I got to tell you this because Ryan and I just did our picks. And I will tell you, Sonny, we did not have the same pick for any of the other 5 games. We were opposite on every single one. So I'm really excited to get your insight on each of them. We start Dolphins Chiefs tomorrow night. It's 4.5. Sonny, just talk for a second about at a sports book, when you have this weather, when you've got negative 15 degrees, wind chills, what it's going to be. I heard some stat this week that the Dolphins are horrible when it's under 32 degrees. They haven't won a game 14 straight that they've lost. How much do you factor the weather in at the sports book, and what do you like there between the Dolphins and the Chiefs?
Yeah, I think that's been the narrative. It's no secret that the Dolphins are quite poor when it's cold outside. I think if this is played in Miami, this is around 52.5 at the total. So it being all the way down to 43.5. It's purely because of the weather. And honestly, I still like the under here at 43.5. It's two teams, it's the Dolphins in particular that just they do not play well. They're a different team in this weather. I think right now, the Chiefs' mindset is let's not let Tyreek Hill, get any open space here. I would be shocked if he goes for his own receiving over, because I think they're going to keep in on Tyreek Hill and make Tua beat them with other weapons here. So right now, Tyreek's total is at 83.5. I love the under there.
That's high. That's high.
And the under on the game. However, the public likes the over. So 60% of the public is on the over at 43.5. But this feels like a trap here to bet the over. I like the under here. As far as who's going to win this game, right now the public is split 50-50 at Dolphins and plus 4.5 here. So, this one really does feel like a toss-up. I like the Chiefs to win, but I don't know if they win by a lot. So, and the public is split there as well.
To Sunday we go. Sonny Gupta joining us from Tipico. Again, use that code Fontana100 when you sign up. Deposit bet $25. Get that $100 in bonus bets. You can use that on all the bets we're going through right now. To Sunday we go. Pittsburgh Bills, 10-point spread. It's a big double-digit one, even for the playoffs. Same thing. We expect weather up there in Buffalo. Talk about how much TJ Watt not playing in this game impacts things and what you like between the Steelers and the Bills.
Yeah, I mean, I think this would be around 7.5 if TJ Watt was playing, just given the way the Bills have looked. I know the Bills have ripped off a bunch in a row here, but Josh Allen does not look great in these wins. So I think that the Watt injury alone accounts for about 2.5 points.
Isn't that crazy, Sonny? I mean, I would assume Miles is similar to that, and like maybe Micah Parsons, but that just tells you how good these guys really are.
He's truly a game changer, and especially with the turnover-prone Josh Allen, where he could actually account for his own points, right?
Yeah,
like TJ Watt that realistically could have had a strip sack or something like that. So, no, it does matter a lot. The total is obviously the lowest total of the weekend here at 35. This one right now, the public likes the over. I don't know why though, because this feels like it'll be a grinded out game. I totally see like a 13-10 type situation happening. I do not think that the Bills look right. And I don't think that they will beat the Steelers by this hefty number of -10 here.
Packers taking on the Cowboys. We know Dallas at home, just that long winning streak. They seem to be that different team. The incredible thing always for me, Sonny, is the fact they're putting up 2 more touchdowns a game at home than on the road. So they got what they needed. They got what they wanted. They're at home. But I would be lying to you if I didn't say that I got this soft spot for Jordan Love. I think he's going to be very good. They're in a dome. It's controlled there, but it's Dallas at home. We watched to see Christian Watson. We got this as an even 7 over there at Tipico. Give me your thoughts. Packers traveling to take on the Cowboys.
This is the famous Mason crossbar Skip Bayless moment, right? With this rematch, Aaron Rodgers threw one of the best passes I've ever seen in that last matchup. But no, the Cowboys, like you said, they're just a different team at home. I like Jordan Love as well. I think that the Packers fans have to be happy with the season that he put forth. But this is the Cowboys at home. I don't see any reason to bet against them. I know it's the Cowboys, so you expect playoff struggles, and I think that happens next round. But against this Packers team at home, I think they take care of business. So I like Cowboys -7. And obviously with the amount of Cowboys fans there around the nation, we have more money on the Cowboys -7 as well. It's about 60-40 split.
There you go. Rams taking on the Lions, the return of Matt Stafford up there to Detroit. Just the 3 right there, which I think is interesting. I kind of maybe expected this to be a little bit more, mostly just of the Rams offense. Like they're going to be able to put up some points, but Detroit, I don't know. So I guess I'm getting hooked on the seeds a little bit. You know what I mean? Like when I look at this seed and go, man, this is just a 3. But then I got to remind myself that it is the Rams offense that might keep this pretty close up there. We know Sam Laporta battling that knee injury. He said he's good to go. Should be pretty cleared. I kind of like the over in this game too, Sonny. That's something I talked about earlier. A lot of the trends are pushing towards the over in this game too. Your thoughts there for the Rams and the Lions on Sunday night?
Yeah, I think this is the best matchup of the weekend. I've actually been on the Rams for a little while now, so I'm holding a future right now for the Rams to win the NFC at +3,000. So I really do like, obviously, Sean McVay being one of the best coaches in the NFL, the Rams being hot at the right time. Kyron Williams looks awesome right now. Matt Stafford in the return to Detroit. I think that all signs point to the Rams being very motivated, being hot at the right time to pull off this upset. So I think -3 is the right number. I don't think that the line should be favored by more or less. The public is exactly split 50-50 here on this game, and I think this is going to be the best game of the weekend. Now, this over, like you said, is very interesting. Even though it is the highest total of the weekend, I also like the over. I think McVay on the Rams side and then Johnson on the Lions side, I think it's a very fun offensive matchup here. So I'm with you on the over here at 51.5.
It's a Monday night. The Eagles just limping into the playoffs. They've had so many struggles at the end of the season. I keep saying the same thing, Sonny. They're going to turn it around eventually. They're going to turn it around. And maybe they won't. I have no idea. But they're taking on a Buccaneers team who I also don't feel super confident about as they enter the playoffs. It is at Raymond James Stadium. The Bucs are the home dog here at 3, favored for Philly. Your thoughts on this game? We know certainly injuries a factor as well for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah, I mean, if you saw this matchup in week 8 or something like that, you'd say Philly -9.5, right? Like the way they've looked as of late, this is shocking to be all the way down to 3. But, as a sportsbook manager, I shouldn't say stay away, right? I should say, obviously, about this game, but I'm personally going to stay away. This feels like a trap game here. No, the public still supporting Philly. We have about 70% of the money on Philly -3. And if this is the Philly team that we saw for the first half of the season, this is an easy cover. The Bucs at home don't really have much of a home field advantage, so I'm not too worried about Philly going on the road here. This over is interesting. So we have 65% of the money on over 43.5. I don't know what anybody has seen from the Philly offense to support that, but I personally like Jalen Hurts anytime touchdown score. I think they're going to let him run a lot. I don't know if they love him throwing the ball anyways. So I like his anytime touchdown score at -135 here.
Well, and especially the brotherly shove is what they call it there. And that's some of the things too, Sonny, with Hurts is just his gaudy rushing touchdowns this year. I mean, that seems to almost be one of the best bets that you can make as it goes on. Anything else when, we talked a lot about some of these games and some of these props. I'm taking your Tyreek under, which I really like that. I like the Hurts anytime touchdown scorer there. Any other just prop that kind of stands out to you, or one that you've made for this weekend for any game, any player?
Yeah, so we've priced up some Brown specials actually. So if you go into the specials tab of the NFL,
Yes.
I think the Browns have a very interesting matchup against the Texans, and I think the most interesting one is Joe Flacco to have the most passing yards in the wild card round.
I saw that. That's right. I'm glad you brought that up, Sonny. I saw that. Yes.
Yeah, I love that bet. I think Joe Flacco, like he's hot at the right time, and we saw it when he made his deep playoff run with the Ravens, right? Like this is what he does. He gets hot at the right time, and I think that given the weather situation this week, I think he's the best bet to have the most passing yards. So yes, at plus 650 for him to have the most passing yards is my favorite bet of the weekend.
I love it. Sonny, when you look at all the games and just kind of big picture, we know the Ravens and the 49ers are kind of sitting at home. You mentioned that you think the Rams and the Lions will be one of the best games, if not the best game this weekend. Is there one that you're circling as far as maybe a futures, right? Like if you're looking at a game to say, if the Chiefs show up, I really feel better about them winning the championship, or how do you kind of view this weekend as a game that maybe you're circling as far as a team to show you something to potentially go win the Super Bowl?
It's funny that you picked that game with the Chiefs. I think the Dolphins have a very tough draw, obviously, with the Chiefs and with that weather situation. But if they can get past the Chiefs, I think the AFC is wide open this year. I think everybody agrees with that. It would be that momentum, the big momentum win that they need to really get over the hump. So obviously the Ravens should be the favorite, and they are the favorite to win the AFC. But if you can get past the Chiefs, I think that really, for the momentum of it, is huge for that team. So they will be playing on the road every single playoff matchup, right? They are the 6th seed. So unless the Steelers figure out a way, they will be on the road, which makes it tough for them. But I think that this is the hardest test they'll face all season. If they can get over that, they should win the AFC.
Sonny Gupta, always appreciate it, man. Congratulations. Okay, you guys got it done against Washington. Is your boy leaving? Is he going to go to the NFL? Is he the Panthers' next head coach, or do you think he stays in Michigan?
See, I wasn't even sure who you were talking about with my boy. Because is JJ McCarthy going to come back?
That's JJ McCarthy. Like, he can go. He's going to go, bro. But I don't know. I guess he could come back. Like, dude, I would think if Harbaugh left, if you're McCarthy, you got to go, right? Like, you don't really. I know he loves Sharon Moore and all that. But do you think Harbaugh's going to go?
I think he does.
Yeah.
I think he did what he needed to do at Michigan, and he takes on the next test. He hasn't gotten that Super Bowl. He was so close with the 49ers. So if he goes, I'm okay with that. He did what he was supposed to do. I think we're in good hands with Sharon Moore, assuming he's the next head coach. So yes, I think he does leave, and I'm okay with that.
All right. I was almost pulling it up here on Tipico to see futures for next year's national championship, but we'll get to that.
I can't believe we're plus 1,000 right now.
Is it still Georgia the favorite? Yeah, right? Yeah,
Yes.
Georgia, Ohio State, Texas. Yeah, I can understand that. There obviously Alabama, a lot changing there with Nick Saban leaving and Dan Lanning staying in Oregon there. So yeah, on Tipico right now, Georgia the favorite, then Ohio State. Sonny, they're not winning the national championship next year. I'm a Buckeye fan through and through. I don't think they're winning it there. Texas plus 750 with Quinn Ewers. I mean, that's pretty interesting with Quinn Ewers coming back too. Yesterday for them, so I'm assuming that'll boost it up there. Folks, get your bets in. Tipico, we love them. They're the best. Use that code Fontana100 when you sign up. Get those bonus bets. Use them on college. Use it on the pros this weekend. We got it all. Sonny, really appreciate you. Enjoy Super Wild Card weekend. Enjoy the whiskey, and we'll talk to you next week. All right, man?
Thanks, Matt. Have a good one.
There you go. Sonny Gupta from Tipico. Dude, the other boost. So our boost is up. Did you see it, Ryan?
I did.
Plus 750.
Let's unveil it after.
All right, we'll do it after. You want us to catch a break? We'll come back. Dude, all of these boosts are ready to go for this weekend. Let's do it. Let's catch a break. We'll tell you about Tipico, and when we come back, we're going to run through the boosts. We're going to run through our Browns boost. We will gear up for the final time to get ready for tomorrow. I'm feeling it. We're excited. Browns playoffs right here on Big Play. For the first time ever, we just did a live parlay. Somebody's walking by and we just gave that guy a boost. He's walking away right now. Fontana code 100 there, or Fontana 100 on Tipico. He just found it. He's now watching the show, and we're signed up, folks. Dude, playoffs are here, and our boost is ready to go. There it is, Ryan.
750. Look at that bad boy. Plus 750. That's almost double the boost they did. Very generous by Tipico there.
That is. We were 457. So here it is. Jerome Ford, anytime touchdown scorer. Amari Cooper over 75.5 receiving yards. And CJ Stroud, 1 interception. That will pay you out plus 750. Other boosts for this weekend on Tipico. This is our guy, Josh Cribbs. Flacco, 250 yards, 25 pass completions, and 2 passing touchdowns, while the Browns defense gets a turnover. That's plus 520. Dolphins, Chiefs, both teams to score in the first quarter, plus 180. A Mahomes, 300 passing yards and no interceptions, plus 750. Josh Allen, 1 passing touchdown and a rushing touchdown is plus 180. Jordan Love, 25 pass completions, 250 passing yards is plus 250. Matt Stafford, 3 passing touchdowns, and the Rams to win, plus 550. Can I be completely honest with you for a second, Ryan?
Yeah.
Our boost, it's the best one.
I think so too.
For the odds and what you got cooking there,
I might throw a generous amount on our boost.
I like that. I like it a lot. Plus 750 or their friends at Tipico. Get signed up, code Fontana 100 when you do. Folks, today's been such a great day. And the excitement for tomorrow, I'm feeling it. I know there's planes that have already left to get down to Houston. I know there's a lot of fans already down there.
People in the Muni lot.
Well, and I think KYC's over there.
Yeah.
They're doing like a Muni lot thing. There are people going to be tailgating all over. Folks, it's going to be so much fun tomorrow. And the excitement is there. The Browns are a team that believe in this team, that they're going to be able to get this win tomorrow. And I look this as from a place of strength, from a place of positivity, Ryan, where I try to find the ways that I think the Houston Texans can win this game. Now, number one, it is starting with the turnovers for me. They could make this a scrappy game. They could get you down there. They could try to run the football. You get a couple of turnovers. I think the start of this game is going to be vitally important tomorrow. And I've said this, you put CJ Stroud out on the field. If you win the toss, you defer. I always like to defer anyway, but I want CJ Stroud out on that field from the start, Ryan. I don't want him on the sidelines to kind of collect himself a little bit or sit back. And I know that there would be a lot of saying, okay, if you get the ball, you go down and you score a touchdown, you're going to put pressure on him. I understand that. I want CJ Stroud on that field right away. And people come back to, he played at big games in Ohio State, and he did. It's a little bit different, though. And that's why pressure on him right away is going to be vitally important. But also, I want to trick this up. I want to give some defensive looks that he might not have seen before. This is a lot on Jim Schwartz. When I think about important matchups for this game, one of them is going to be Laramie Tunsil. Now, the thing is, Myles Garrett has seen Laramie Tunsil. And he mentioned this a little bit in his comments yesterday. I want to pull up the exact thing that Myles said going up against Laramie Tunsil. Okay, I can't. Our internet sucks. Anyway, we're still on the air. That's the most important thing. He kind of mentioned, I've gone up against him. He's really good. It's a little microcosm of the Browns and this matchup against the Texans. You've seen each other, but there's going to be a little nuance. There's going to be a little bit of a difference of what they bring. So I think just limiting what CJ Stroud can do would be massive. Trying to get a hand in his face is going to be good. Put him out there to start the game, though.
Wow, Matt. So I tried to Google to find that quote, and I see this headline from Texans Wire. The headline is, Texans offensive tackle Laramie Tunsil has dominated against Browns defensive end Myles Garrett.
Okay, I'm sure they have some stats to back that up. Do they have that on Texans Wire?
I'll do some research right now.
Scrolling down, see what they got. Anything tangible?
Tunsil has allowed just 1 pressure in 40 matchups between the two since 2018.
Okay, that's pretty good.
That's 2.5% pressure rate is more than 7% better than Baltimore Ravens tackle Ronnie Stanley, who plays Garrett twice a year.
Okay, that's tangible. I appreciate that from Texans Wire. It's a different version, though, I think, of Myles.
You want to hear? This is kind of from Next. This is from Next Gen Stats.
Yes,
the top 5 people best pressure rate allowed pass blocking versus Miles.
Okay.
Number 1 is Laramie Tunsil with an impressive
There you go.
2.5%.
Okay.
Then next, as I mentioned, Ronnie Stanley 9.9, 3, 4, and 5, Bobby Hart of the Lions, Orlando Brown of the Bengals, and Deion Dawkins of the Bills.
Okay. There you go. So, I mean, and again, one of those guys, Orlando Brown, just got to Cincinnati, but he saw him a couple of times with Kansas City as well. You know, you don't face Laramie Tunsil all the time, even when he was in Miami, but here, and that's fine. Okay? We can live with that. If Laramie Tunsil really plays Myles Garrett to a stalemate, your guy's Darius Smith, who you have called upon and I have called upon too, to step up and make some plays. I'm going to look to the rest of that defense to step up and try to get that pressure and get it in the face of CJ Stroud. The other thing is, when it comes to sacks for Houston, they're not good, they're not bad, right? Like, they're kind of middle of the road for the sacks that they have allowed. If anything, they lean a little more towards better on being able to limit the opponent getting the sacks. It's just the thought of Myles Garrett. It's just the beginning of he's out there, and you're going to have to scheme up this offense. Same thing with Bobby Sloak. He's scheming up this offense to stop Myles Garrett from making your impact. The other thing, as we've discussed a lot, is going to be Nico Collins. Big-bodied guy. I'm going to watch Denzel Ward with the knee. I want to believe, Ryan, that the knee is just a precautionary thing, that he tweaked it in practice. It shouldn't be that bad, and he'll be good to go. I'm going to need everybody on that secondary. I am. Because Nico Collins torched it the last time that you saw him. And if you want to live with, you put up those numbers and we'll limit everything else they do, that's fine. That's going to be important. The other key for one of these games, coaching. You have the coach of the year in Kevin Stefanski. Does he have a long-standing playoff history? No. He's coached 2 games. One of those he wasn't even there for. So really, in essence, he's coached 1 game as a head coach. That was in Kansas City back in 2020. But there's still Jim Schwartz. That doesn't get brought up a lot in this thing. That is a coach that is through defensive coordinator, head coach, years of experience. He's played in a lot of playoff games. And I think that provides you a little bit of stability on that coaching staff. Because again, you look at the Texans, they got a lot of young guys and a lot of young positions from a coaching standpoint. Not just the head coach with DeMeco Ryans, but everybody else. I think Jim Schwartz gives you a huge edge in this game for a guy that's been there and done it in the playoffs in the past.
Yeah, Matt, I'm going to go back real quick to just, I think it's so important to talk about this Denzel Ward thing because you bring up these splits. So this is the Browns 2023 pass defense with versus without Denzel Ward. So obviously he's played in 13 games and missed 4. So in those 13 games, the Browns are 10-3. 155 pass yards a game and 13 touchdowns. So about 1 touchdown per game. You flip it over, the 4 games that Denzel has missed, their record 1-3. Their opponent pass yards per game goes up about 40 yards to 196. But here's the thing, Matt. Just in those 4 games, we've allowed 10 touchdowns.
That's insane.
Without Denzel Ward.
That's insane. So again, 13 games versus 4, and you've allowed almost the same amount of touchdowns with Denzel Ward on the field and without.
That's scary.
That is scary. How much he will be matched up with Collins, I think kind of depends. I don't want to read too much into the body type things because Denzel can still get up. I mean, he has gone against taller receivers and shut them down. As long as he's in good position to make a play on the football, you'll be fine. But yeah, Nico Collins is 6'4". That's a big body guy. If you need to, you can. I mean, here's the fun thing. I imagine that Jim Schwartz is going to flip Ward and MJ Emerson. He's going to flip him on and off of Nico Collins the whole time and try to give them different looks to match up and screw up what they're trying to do. That'd be the biggest thing for me, is trying to give different looks to Stroud and to Collins to make it tough on them to get into that rhythm. That's what I'm looking at for this game. You flip it over now to the Browns offense. This has got to be on Joe Flacco. This game has got to be on Joe Flacco. You don't get to this point without him. You don't win playoff games without your quarterback. I'm going to ask for 300 yards. I'm going to ask for a couple of touchdowns. And I think just in asking that, Ryan, I will get a turnover. I imagine that there will be at some point an interception thrown by Joe Flacco. Got to deal with it, right? That's what he has been doing recently. The thing is, can the Browns defense, which we're hoping for our boost with Typico, that you will force a turnover on the other side. That is why the turnovers have not been a big factor with Flacco, because you've overcome them with your own on defense. I just like Flacco to it's so simple to say, just stop throwing interceptions. It's that easy. Quit doing that. I know it's not that easy to do, but still, Flacco getting out to a lead is going to be huge too. Because if you can get out to that lead, if you can, you want my dream scenario for this game to start tomorrow? You win the toss, you defer. You put CJ Stroud out there on the field. He goes 3 and out. You get the football. You go on a nice little long drive down there. You score a touchdown, preferably to Jerome Ford. You go up 7-0, and you put the pressure on the Texans. You start to squeeze just a little bit. Maybe you go down and kick a field goal. You get up 10-0, and Flacco can start with the short stuff, the intermediate stuff. You can limit the interception possibilities, running the football with Jerome Ford and Kareem Hunt. There's your recipe for success. That's how the Browns are going to win this game tomorrow, if that's how it plays out. Now, conversely, they get the ball and they go down, they score a touchdown. All right, now we're in a little bit of a shootout here, and you're going to need to respond. No problem. No problem. But I would like it to just limit the impact that the interceptions might have. To do that, you start with a lead. You start with the lead, start throwing some of your intermediate stuff, and put Joe Flacco in a good position for the but the lesser throws there, and that's how you get done. Do not forget about David Njoku in this game, too. Could be a big Njoku game coming up. One of those two are going to show up, Mari Cooper or David Njoku. One of those two guys, I think, is going to have an incredible game for the Browns tomorrow afternoon.
Yeah, 2 things to keep your eye on, I certainly am, is, of course, as you mentioned, getting out to that lead. We've seen Kevin Stefanski orchestrate these beautifully done first drive throughout the regular season. You want that to translate to the postseason and get an early lead. But then, as you mentioned, David Njoku, he has to keep track of that ball. You know, when he gets into those angry runs, he tends to be a little bit loose, tends to make a lot of attempts at hurdling guys, which is fun and all, but you need him to protect the ball in this game.
It's a game of, turnovers. I think penalties are going to be a part of it. And what else is that third key to that? Special teams. Riley Patterson, baby. I sent the tweet out. In his career against Houston, pretty good. His career in a dome, pretty good. And his career in the playoffs, pretty good. He is still not Dustin Hopkins. There will be that change on how Kevin Stefanski approaches it, whether, you're sitting at the 40-yard line and do you punt it here? Do you go for it? Do you try that long field goal? The one nice thing is you are in a dome, okay? I would like it to be here because then that would screw with Kai Fairbairn a little bit, but that would also mess with Riley Patterson. At this point, I think I would rather have it in the dome where it's as equal a playing field as you can get. Yes, you're home for Kai Fairbairn. He is the better kicker in this game. But that's something that I think about, the worry that I might have for where the Browns are at, or the areas that I'm a little concerned about. Yeah, it's kicker. It's relative of it's not a quarterback. You're going to get Denzel. But Ryan, I'm a little worried about how Riley Patterson's going to play out in this game here, knowing that you're going to need a big kick from him. You're going to need it.
Yeah, I mean, how could you not be worried? Not only is he replacing what you could say has been one of our MVPs, but we saw him kick in that Jets game, and he missed it. And then you go further beyond that, he only had 2 extra point tries in that Week 18, so he really doesn't have much kicking under his belt with the Cleveland Browns. And the one time he did, he kind of let us down. Obviously, it didn't matter because we dominated in that Jets game, but certainly going into this playoff match, it's going to be something you have to keep your eye on. And I think that's so huge, Matt, to see how Kevin Stefanski operates around that and see what kind of leash he gives Riley Patterson. Because let's say he misses,
it could change everything.
He chips a 40-yard field goal. Not only does that ruin the Browns' chance of winning because you're missing points, but then also that affects Kevin Stefanski's ability to be confident to send this guy out when you're 40, 50 yards out.
How many playoff games do you think about Blair Walsh? We talked with Sonny about the double doink, or, the doink with Mason Crosby. I mean, there's so many games that, it comes down to the kicker. It's the playoffs are like a magnet for finding out if you have a bad kicker. That is just true. And then, of course, you got guys like Adam Vinatieri that rise to it. I hope it's not a factor, but no matter what, it is going to change how they approach even field position, your decision-making again on 3rd and 4th down. What was one of my small keys to the game? They're really good at 3rd down defense. We're bad at 3rd down offense, and vice versa. Our defense, the best 3rd down defense in the league, and they have middle of the road offense when it comes to third down.
And just to harp on,
are you going to go for it now on fourth down? Are you going to go for how does that approach? All that kind of stuff is going to be on the plate and the page of Kevin Stefanski.
And just to keep harping on how big special teams is, I believe just one kickoff return allowed this year for the Cleveland Browns defense, and that came against the Houston Texans.
Right. That made that game a little more interesting than you would believe. What's the factor of C.J. Stroud not playing in that game? Because if you are the Houston Texans, I'm glad you brought that up, Ryan. You could be sitting there saying, we kind of took it to the Browns without C.J. Stroud, without Will Anderson. Now they're back. That would be their reason for optimism down there in Houston, is that you played them tough in that game. They blanketed Amari Cooper. He just made some grown-ass man catches in that game. I mean, Amari Cooper, they had good coverage on him. And it's a little bit of the same. We're talking about just shutting down Nico Collins. I'd imagine Houston's defense, all they care about is stopping Amari Cooper. The funny thing is they tried to do that, in my opinion, the last game, Ryan, and they couldn't because he just made these massive plays. But when I think about Houston, they didn't have their quarterback. The factor that goes back and forth is this. He's a rookie, but he's still damn impressive of what he's doing. If you're Houston, I would imagine they're feeling really confident because we took it to them a little bit. And we didn't have our two best players out there.
Yeah, Matt, this is kind of a cool stat I just pulled up. So this is rookie quarterbacks starting in a playoff game.
Okay.
They are 10-14. But you go back, you know who did it as a rookie?
Joe Flacco.
Joe Flacco.
Well, Jim Schwartz said that he beat him with the Tennessee Titans. Jim Schwartz was the defensive coordinator of the Titans, and he goes, yeah, here comes some snot-nosed, he didn't say that, but some rookie coming in. It was Joe Flacco. And he got that win against them all the way back. I think he said 2008.
Can you tell me who the last rookie quarterback to win a playoff game is? So technically the last one is Brock Purdy.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Because we all know that happened. But the last true one, I would say, who was their starter at the beginning of the season.
Not Andrew Luck. Robert Griffin III didn't win that game. It's more recent than that, right?
It's 2012.
2012. Oh, God.
So I believe that's a year, if I'm not mistaken, after Luck and RG3.
Yeah, so that would have been... Oh, so you're talking about the draft class after them, right?
I believe...
Because it gets fluky when you talk about 2012 playoffs. That might have been the playoffs for the 2011
I'm pretty sure this
season.
guy was drafted in 2012.
He was drafted in 2012.
So, no, I don't think he was the same class as Luck and RG3.
Well, they were the 2012 draft class. But...
Well, let me look it up.
Yeah, look it up. I got no internet over here.
So this guy was. So it says this guy was drafted in 2012. So maybe he was the same.
Okay, he was. So then you talk about the top of Luck, Trent Richardson, RG. Oh man. Okay, so he had to have been drafted later.
He's been in the news very recently.
It's not Aaron Rodgers. Kirk Cousins? No, he didn't start for them. Oh man. I don't know.
Russell Wilson.
Russell Wilson. Good call. Good call. Russell Wilson. I would not have gotten that. All right. I mean, it's rarefied air. Like, that's not any, like, again, outside of Brock Purdy, you go all the way back. It took 10 years for a rookie to win their playoff debut. Now, it's not nuts? But it's not easy for rookies to go to the playoffs either.
Right, so not a huge sample size.
That's not a big sample size to get. I understand that.
2011, TJ Yates.
Wow. Bills?
I think Texans.
Texans. Okay, there you go. I mean, the thing is, can I tell you why I don't like that stat? It's meant to be broken. You know, like, it's been so long that it's kind of meant to be broken. What's the home field advantage, do you think, here for Houston? We were just down there. That's where we played them.
I think I would say it's top. Like, if you were to separate a top 15 in terms of a true home field advantage than not, I would say they're more towards the top.
Probably, and especially because they've been down a little bit like us, so I'm sure their fans are all raucous and ready to go. I do know that there's a lot of Browns fans going down there, so that's going to help out a lot. Quickly to our bracket, we're going to send it out for the weekend. So our best cartoon, we got the finals yesterday. Ryan and I had some little something special. We might have some big news for the show. Coming up here as we enter 2024. We'll see that. So we'll send it out. Our bracket, of course, the best 90s cartoon. The finals are up on the screen, I believe. TMNT, Recess, Batman the Animated Series, and SpongeBob, and vote on that. We'll do it throughout the weekend at Matt Fontana Show. Folks, this is it, man. This is it. And I want to just say this as we get ready to go for tomorrow. If you're neurotic, if you're nervous, if you're scared.
Oh, we got to look at our poll.
Go pull the poll up.
52.3% excited, 35.5% nervous, and 12% I'm going to black out.
Enjoy this. You don't need me to tell you this, but sit down with family, with friends, as a Browns fan, and be proud. No matter what happens, they're going to leave it out on the field. I want you as the fans to leave it out on the field tomorrow. The proverbial field. Leave it all out there. Get the chants going even in your basement. Get the barking going even at your basement. I'm going to be
barking all Saturday.
Be excited. Be happy about it. Enjoy it. We are in the playoffs, and it starts tomorrow.
You want to know why I'm so confident, Matt? The Browns just released a hype trailer.
I saw that.
Narrated by one Jim Donovan.
He's going on the trip. That's been a big part of this season, too. We all love Jim and wishing him the best. He's going to bring us that luck, man. I feel so good about tomorrow, but I just feel so happy that I get to watch the Cleveland Browns in the NFL playoffs, baby! Get it done tomorrow. Let's go. We will talk to you on a Victory Monday, 9 to 11, right here on Big Play. You got Chico coming up 12 to 2 today. Big Play, big bets later. Ted Ginn Jr. show today as well. Follow at Big Play, and we're going to talk to you on a Victory Monday right here on Big Play. For Ryan Tyler, it's always a little sweeter on Fridays. I'm Matt Fontana. Take it easy.